Hello, everyone. This is Giselle Toner. Welcome to Ignite Your Value. This is the show for those who want to go from broken to brilliant, from getting the love you deserve to getting paid what you're worth. And I love the fact that I can bring people on who have truly made a difference in this world and who are making a difference right now. And one of those people I have on right now, her name is Jen Zoe. Jen is just amazing. And I have some wonderful things to tell you about Jen before we actually get started with the interview. So let me tell you about Jen. Jen Zoe is the owner and founder of Zenergen. I love that name. Located in Orlando, Florida. Zenergen is more than just a retreat center and a sanctuary for rescued horses. It's a lifestyle approach to empowering your soul and discovering your purpose through what can be learned from these amazing animals. Raised in Southeast Missouri, Jen Zoe has always had a deep love of horses, but it wasn't until she was an adult that she realized her dream of owning them. We are excited to host her today to hear her story for sure, and how she went from homeless to horses and is using them to change the lives of people from all walks of life and all parts of the world. Jen believes that everyone should have the opportunity to have a high quality experience with a horse that maintains the dignity of the animal. Yes, amen. We are honored to be inspired by her story and her gifts. And welcome, Jen Zoe. I am so excited because you are doing something that is so close to my own heart, and I love this. So let me just say that I'm already excited before even hearing anything you have to say. But I want you to take the show. Let's just talk about you and where you came from and what got you started in all of this.
Thanks, Giselle. Thanks for having me on the show today. I'm super excited to share this story because I think there's so many people out there that are just kind of just going through the days and feeling like they're struggling. They're just kind of just getting through the day and feeling like they kind of have to do it on their own. And if I can just inspire even one person to take this idea of what they should do every day and be inspired to do what they could do, because what could you do if you set aside the should? So that's really where it came for me. So I'm very excited to be on the show and hopefully inspire someone.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you had some real setbacks. Tell us a little bit about the stuff that pretty much brought you down. You said you were homeless. What was going on with that?
Well, to be fair, it was more like living without an address, but how it happened was just such a kind of the rug taken out from under you, if you want to look at it from that perspective. But we really have to take an idea that life is happening, is conspiring for you. And had I tried to stay where I was, I would have stayed on that sinking ship. But what happened was I woke up to a message on Facebook from a strange woman about my husband. Now, it's not what you might be thinking. That would have been easier. Okay. What she actually said was, you might want to talk to your husband about where he's getting his money. So it was a really tough thing to read that and to realize the truth that what my lifestyle was. And we had it. We had on the outside what seemed like a great life, a big office space right in the center of town, beautiful house, horses, travel, everything that, what would seem to be the perfect life. But the truth was that it was a house of cards. And it all came crumbling down that day when I read that message and I learned the truth. And the truth is that he was facing charges for fraud and theft and ended up actually going to jail. And I ended up living on my old personal assistant's sofa. And I went back to waitressing at almost 40. And, to be just living this life and just all of a sudden be hit in the face with that information, it's like, holy cow, what do you do? And so I really spiraled off into this deep depression, because when your identity is ripped from you, when the universe says, honey, I've been trying to tell you to follow your dream for a long time and you're not listening, I'm going to hit you with it. And it happens in the most interesting and profound ways. And looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I've been guided to where I am now. But at the time when you can't see the forest for the trees, you don't know what's going to happen. And I started really going into this dark place of isolation where I was binge drinking and cutting myself and really being very self-destructive and not even understanding what was happening. And when if you've ever had a panic attack or knowing someone that close to you that has, it's not something you'd wish on your worst enemy. And I used to actually scoff. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? What is that? But when you feel like the elephant is sitting on your chest and you can't breathe and you physically can't move and you don't understand like what is going on in your world, you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that took a level of fortitude that I didn't even know what was in me. And by a chance encounter, I ended up at a Tony Robbins experience where he did an intervention with me that changed my life. And
So you were actually at one of his events and he called on you? Is that what happened?
yes, and I've never raised my hand at one of those things, you know. I'm an extrovert. I mean, let's be fair. I'm an extrovert, no doubt about it. But I would only ever want to like raise my hand or be if I already knew the answer. Or if I was going to be like, yes, I can achieve this, I can do it. Never in a zillion years did I ever think I would, and I'm going to get kind of emotional if that's all right with you, because this is
Yeah.
a very vulnerable time of my life where I really felt like my old story was, you know, the woman makes the life worth living and the man makes the living. That's how I was raised. A lot of men-century mentality, you know, the industrial age thinking, you know, the man goes to work and the woman stays home or works a part-time job or becomes a real estate agent or sells
Right.
Tupperware. You know, that's what my mom did and that's what I
Yeah.
was taught.
Yeah.
And so to realize that maybe there was something inside me, there was a truth that was within me that needed to come out. And it had to do with these amazing horses. It was incredible because every time I would talk about it, my friends were like, you just light up when you start sharing about how these horses impact you. And not just that you can get them to jump or run fast or whatever, but that the interaction that you would have and how you talk about them. It's so, what is it? What is inside there? And
Yeah.
so when I raised my hand that day,
Yeah.
it was because I had a miniature horse that had died,
Oh.
and we had done demonstrations, and he and my other one, that was like what we did. It was our identity. And so now I'm living on my old personal assistant sofa, waiting tables. I don't have my horses the way I thought I should. I wasn't doing the things, all of these things that I thought I would be because of all this shoulding I'd been doing. I'd literally been shooting all over myself. You know, and
Right.
it wasn't getting me anywhere except suffering and pain.
Right.
And I didn't understand that there was an alternative
Yeah.
until that moment when I realized that I had impacted so many people's lives just by showing up with my horses. And
Right.
I inspired someone to buy a horse or get a mini or change their lives or light them up or put a smile on their face. I was
Hmm.
like, there's something to this.
Yeah. Now, what did Tony say to you to draw this out of you?
Oh, damn. He he wasn't very nice. You know? You know, when you get your soul cracked open by a 6'7" tall man that has the power and impetus that Tony Robbins does,
I know.
sometimes it's like, ah!
I
And the
know.
beauty of it is that, you know, because and I was at that event to find the next Mr. Jen. You know, I was like looking for the next person. Like that was my identity. I didn't know I could be my own person. I didn't
Right.
know that I didn't have to, you know, have a partnership with somebody and be, you know, their second so I could be my first or, you know, I didn't
Right.
understand it. So I stood up and I had a skirt and heels and oh, I looked amazing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Makeup was perfect and I looked great. On the inside, I was dying. I had $300 in my bank account and I stood up with my hands shaking and I bared my soul in front of thousands of people and I shared my story and I said, I'm scared.
Oh.
I don't know what's going to happen. And I know that there's a truth that's within me that
Mm.
needs to shine through. And he said in the beginning, he said, girl, you look like a hairy guy in a mini skirt.
No, no.
That dress and that state are sending two conflicting messages, and men like me are repulsed by women like you.
Oh my
And I was like,
God.
oh my God, I hate you, Tony. I mean, there was so many like ugly feelings, and I was scared. I was like, but shit, now what? I came here to find a man like you, and now you're that's not a. So the beauty of it was, even though it was coarse and it was in my face and he was loving me with a hammer, I was like, that door closed. That door closed to like that opportunity that I thought was there. And I had to dig deep. I
Wow.
had to say, okay, there is something within me that has to show up. There was something within Jen that was like, that did know that it had value.
Right.
And he whispered to me at the end of the intervention and said, now that you know that you're strong, you don't have to work at it so hard anymore. And I knew that there was a truth and authenticity in me that was to be built on a foundation stronger than the pyramids. It just had yet to be revealed. So I got to work, and it wasn't easy. And I was faced with everyone saying, get rid of your horses, sell them, go get a job. You live in Orlando, you know how, go work at Animal Kingdom. I had friends, I could have done that. All I could visualize though, Giselle, was getting out of my little Mini Cooper in my little khaki shorts with a name badge that said Disney instead of Zenergen.
No,
No,
that's not you. No,
no.
that's not you. I'm sorry.
No, and it would have been another one of those situations where the universe will continue to teach you its lesson until you learn it in this lifetime or the next.
That's right.
And I said no. And don't tell my mom. I could have had a job at Disney with benefits and all those things. Forget that. But I pursued my dream.
Yeah.
I pursued it. I didn't know how.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm living. I have this beautiful. Fast forward 2.5 years.
Mhm.
I have this 2.5 years. That's not even half what most people have for a car payment.
Right.
That's nothing. 30 months.
So what happened in 2.5 years? What happened in 2.5 years?
I now have a gorgeous 10-acre property.
How did this happen?
Oh my God. Giselle, you're asking the bumblebee how it flies. Come on.
Oh, I love it.
I know. It's like how. Everybody wants to know the damn how. Fuck the how. Can I say that again?
You can say anything you want.
Fuck the how. Pardon my language. But really, trash the how. Like, screw it. Be aligned. Stop the hustle. Stop asking how.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
I love this.
It is about the what and the why.
Right.
When you decide what it is, when you tap in, when you put that tap right into the flux capacitor, you will time warp your life into what you are meant to be.
I love this.
Exactly how, and it will happen. And the more aligned you are, the less flow is. And let's be clear something, Giselle, because a lot of the times we think like flow, like the flowers, and whatever. Even though the hummingbird kind of just floats from flower to flower, their wings are beating 90-0.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And flow, like whitewater rapids, that's flow.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. So how I ended up here, I got kicked out of my old place. So so I'll give you.
I mean, you got kicked off the couch from where you were?
Yeah, no, yeah. So I had a smaller property, and it was this guy. He had this barn and a yard basically, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. But I could afford it, and I was hustling for a buck, and my lips were chapped, and my skin. I had a horse attack me and bite my ear.
Oh.
I mean, I had a lot of stuff happen. And
Did you have your horses at this point? Did you have horses?
I had two horses.
How did you do? Okay, so you had your 2 horses at this property that you were renting with someone.
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually lost my one horse in the divorce. I mean, I sounded like a country song. I lost my truck, I lost my trailer, I lost my home, I lost my dog, I lost my horses. And I'm
Oh,
like right there, man.
oh my God.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
so go ahead.
Done ain't got nothing on me. So it was one of those situations where it's like, okay, so I went from that point and I just really honestly just believed. I just believed that I knew I had something of value to offer through what with these, because I kept seeing it. I kept seeing it when I'd have a client come out and they would have an interaction and
Yeah.
they'd be like, oh my God, this is what I'm doing to my husband. This is what I'm doing to my kids. And I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. So I kept getting these little wins, and then I did my first retreat. And my first retreat was with a 75-year-old man who was trying to quit smoking and figure out his why. Like,
Wow.
and I was like, oh my gosh. So it was crazy. But
Yeah.
anyway, so fast forward to where I am now. I was having an event for veterans.
Mhm.
And the gentleman that I was renting the property from, he was like, okay, this is not what I signed up for. I just thought I had a cute blonde and some horses on my property. I did not realize that I had this woman that wanted to change the world. It's time for you to go. And at the time I panicked. I was like, oh shit, I'm going to be homeless again. But it was a blessing. So I found a friend of mine who was a real estate agent. And I said, girl, I got to find a place. I don't know what I was just coming out of the dark too. Like I was just like finally starting to get traction, and I was doing my workshops and I was having a good time. We were starting to get engaged. And then I was like, shit, homeless again, son of a, blah, blah, blah. All right. And then again, what is everybody telling me? Jen, you're insane. Will you please just stop this craziness? You have too many horses. Don't have enough of this. Go. You have friends that'll take your horses for a little while. Just go get a cheap apartment someplace, get a roommate, just go get a job, get back on your feet. You're just overdriving. So I can't even tell you how many people were like, just go get your act together.
Right.
Just for a little while. You don't have to sell them, just for a little while. So I was like, maybe they're right. Nobody would take my horses.
Oh, wow.
Nobody would take them. I was like, and I have very well-trained horses.
Mm.
So I'm like, I have these really well-trained horses and nobody's taking them. I'm like basically giving them away. And so it's the universe going, nope, that ain't going to happen.
Right.
So I was like, all right, fine. So I found this property. There were 7 properties she came to me with that were vacant that could take horses.
Oh.
And she said, all right, I found these places. Let's go look at them. And I said, it's the last one. It's the last property. And she goes, how do you know that? And I go, I don't. I just know.
Wow.
She goes, it's the most expensive one. And here I am with about $800 to my name.
Oh my God.
And she goes, it's the most expensive one. It's almost $1 million property, Giselle.
Oh my God.
So here I am, $800, bunch of horses, no money, nothing. I was like, all right, let's go look at it. So we went and looked at it and we drove onto the property, and I just fell to my knees, and I cried God's tears. And I said, after 16 moves in 13 years, I said, I'm home.
Oh.
And the people I talked to, and they're like, oh, no. We just want to sell the property. We don't want anything to do with, crazy horse people. The running joke is, well, the running joke with women is like, women with horses are like cat ladies with money. Okay. What? So long story short, I said, I got to make this work. And they're saying no. So we're like, all right, so let's go look at the next property. We went and looked at the next property. She was willing to entertain it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then she said,
what was she willing to entertain?
A lease
option. Gotcha.
Something where I could get in. I can't afford shit right now.
Right.
I'm like
Right.
rubbing 2 nickels together. But
Right.
I just started. I was just starting to make an impact. I was just starting to get progress.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I knew I was onto something. I knew it.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, we'll figure something out. And so great. She said the magic words, let's take a look at your financials. And I was like, okay, I'll be right back. And, but I was like, I need to go make this look good. So I went and I ran sales on my events. I put everything together. I was digging the change out of my couch. I got everything together like the best I could. And I got all my documents together and I said, all right, I can do it. I just, but I can do it. She said, I just sold the property. So now I'm like, oh crap. Now what? In the meantime, the first property saw my story on Fox News.
Oh.
And they called me back and they said, we saw what you're up to. We love what you're doing. Let's talk.
Oh.
And then they said, let's take a look at your financials. We'll make something work. And I had it all ready to go.
Wow.
Because of this other thing. So those of you that are listening, see how like all of these pieces are like, no, 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 no. And I'm hitting no's everywhere. But what the truth is that that's just guiding me to exactly where I needed to be.
Exactly.
So if you take anything from this podcast, those of you that are listening, know that you must detach from your outcomes.
Yeah.
Detach.
Yeah.
Express your desire. Set your intentions. Do your God's best and detach from the outcome, because that will shape who you are and how you show up every day in your life. And you will never live a life of regret if you live that way.
I have to tell you something right now. I am flooded with emotion. I am flooded with chills because I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've been there, not to the extent that you were, but very similar. And I know exactly what you mean. And I felt every step of the way, every roadblock that you hit was another, oh no, but it was the universe saying, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
So how do you shift the oh no's and the oh shits to oh boys, and how fascinating. And like a roadblock just means that's not the road for you.
Right.
You
It's
know?
actually the opening of what's capable of what you're capable of doing. With you
Yeah.
don't even know what you're capable of. We only work at 40%. Most of us don't even work at 40% of what we're capable of doing. There's
That's
another 60% beyond what you think is your
available to us. Yes.
right.
And it's
Right.
available to us when we shift our mindset, when we shift our language and say, instead of saying, oh, this is a roadblock, that's actually, have you ever seen the show Let's Make a Deal? Remember that
Yeah.
show where they dress in the funny costumes, you kind of pick door number 1, door number 2, door number 3.
Yes.
And then the audience, you're the person in like wearing the cereal box as your costume, whatever. And the audience is going, don't pick door number 3. That's the goat. It has a year supply of Beanie Weenie. Don't pick door number 3. And they're like, no. And you're like, should I pick door number 1? And then no, that's the universe. The universe does the same thing. And you're on your sofa, eating your bonbons and watching the show. And Monty Roberts is like, or Monty whatever, it's like, no, don't pick door number 3. And you're like, I think I'll pick door number 3. Door number 3, ladies and gentlemen, is the bad relationship, the poor business decision. Right? It is you running into the roadblock.
Right.
Listen to the crowd. Listen to your intuition.
Right.
Listen to the voice of source, capital S.
Yeah.
And choose the path.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what will set you up for success. So, and that's where I said, okay. So I got, now I'm here and I have this amazing property. I have 10 acres. I have 6 gorgeous rescued horses.
Oh.
I have, 2 homes. It's a retreat center. We run events here. You have the opportunity to come and experience that. Giselle, I'm blessed. You're going to be coming and experiencing.
I can't wait. Let me tell you, I have a rescue horse. I rescued my thoroughbred. And let me tell you, I've learned very, very many lessons in my life and a lot of messages. This horse has taught me things that I could never have learned from any human being ever. And I have to tell you, I know exactly what you're talking about, because what you're doing right now is giving people an opportunity to go beyond what the norm is, because we're human beings. We do not have the capacity to really learn, everything unless you are around a powerful animal like that. And it's just amazing. Now, somebody like you who has the ability and the training to be able to take people through these kind of programs is such a blessing. I want to talk real quickly also about your TED Talk, because I know that you did a TED Talk.
Ooh,
Right?
Yeah, that was scary as hell.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the first time. That's interesting. Thank you for bringing that up because it's like just as you feel like just my passion. I'm obviously very passionate about living the life that you could live.
Yeah.
Fuck the should. You
Right.
know, live the life you can live, the life you desire. And that was really like the impetus behind my TED talk. And the last line of it is, they don't call it horsepower for nothing.
Yeah.
More and more science is showing the healing power that horses can have. And
Yes.
that's what, and I was like, is this really real? Is this really happening? But as the letters pour in and as the raving fans show up and now that we're starting to host, higher profile, some celebrities are coming here. I got to keep that under wraps right now, but I do have some pretty amazing people that are going to be showing up. I can't say any names, although I want to. I'm so excited. But like
I'm just
really, this is starting to become mainstream, and people like Joaquin Phoenix that are really starting to like his Oscar speech talking about how we treat animals
yes.
because of the way that their vibration allows us to engage. It shifts
Yes.
our mindset in a way that a seminar, a white, and you can't learn this from a whiteboard.
Right.
You cannot.
Exactly.
So
I
it's
have to.
empowering space. So that was my TED talk. It's called Horsepower Healing. You can Google it and look it up. It's really, it tells my story. And it was the first time that I actually became very vulnerable on stage, where I shared like the story of my brother's suicide and his drug overdose and how that happened and how that shaped my life and to really empower others. Because, when you are in a dark, isolated place, only fungus grows there. Only
Yes.
the things that we don't want to have. When we shed light on those things, that really can actually bring you to a space where you can shine your own.
Now
And
the
that's
The
really what my
TED
TED
Talk.
Talk.
What is the TED Talk called again? Because I know that people are going to want to go on and
Oh
look at
yeah,
that.
horse-powered healing.
Horse-powered healing. Okay, great. And also, I want to have people be able to contact you.
Absolutely.
Where can they find you?
Well, first off, I'm in Orlando. That's my physical location. We do a few things where you can reach me directly at zenergen.com. And it's like how I came up with the name. I at a stoplight, and because a lot of things come to me while I'm driving, and is Zen because I would love like would not like to live a more Zen life,
Yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
and I'm Jen. So Zen or Jen,
I love it.
ZENERGEN.com. So
Right.
it's Zenergen.com. You can reach out to me on my website, or you can reach me directly at here. Just my cell phone number is 407-412-0252. I'm a very transparent person. We live and walk our talk. We live by our core values and our theme. Like what we believe at Zenergen is that everyone deserves to have a high quality experience with a horse that maintains the dignity of the animal.
I love this. Honestly, you are speaking to my heart. I have been a horse girl since I was little. I've had my first love was a pony, and I never ever lost it. And I've been around horses, have had many, and this is something that I actually am involved in myself to a pretty good extent. So you and I are sisters. We are going to connect even more deeply.
Yeah.
I'm coming to your retreat. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
Yes. I do that twice a year. I only do my retreat twice a year. It sells out pretty quick, but definitely I'm super excited to be hosting you.
Yeah.
And, and ultimately the vision is to really shift the way we look at horses and allow more people to have a quality, high level experience with them.
Exactly. And I think that that's something that is so important for today and forever, honestly, but today more than ever, because, we're at a critical time right now where people are just really at the bottom. And even if they think they're at the top, they come down crashing quickly. So this is something that's going to be able to get people connected in a really strong way with
Absolutely.
something that's powerful, extremely powerful.
Get out in
Horses,
nature. Yes.
Horses are really, I could talk forever about them, and so could you, but we're going to wrap this up now. But honestly, horses to me are really the gateway to our spirit, our soul, and something very high that we can never really reach. So
Absolutely.
we've got that bridge right now. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much, Jen. I have to say
Thank you for hosting me. It's been a pleasure.
thank you for being who you are. And I know that you and I are going to be connecting again very shortly. But everyone, if you have any more questions for Jen, she'd be happy to talk to you. Look her up and connect with her because she's an amazing person.
Excellent. Thanks for
All
having
right,
me.
Jen. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right. Bye, everybody. Make sure that you tune in again to Ignite Your Value. This is Giselle Toner, and I will be back again. Bye.